They're a sponsor of BOSC. This was peer reviewed and everything. So, yes, what happens is that we have a problem. We bought an high seek 10. Yeah, so I didn't personally. Someone did. And it's unpacked, it's ready. The samples can come in, it's going to target mostly cancer genomics. And we had to think about the bioinformatics, how are you going to handle this? So it's 18,000 genomes per year, 15,000 genomes per day at capacity. That's 3.5 terabytes sustained, right? I mean, you will have probably peak throughput of 10 terabytes per day or something sometimes. So we had an existing pipeline, which we use for HiSeq, and that takes 3 days on a cluster. Only problem is when you send in 10 genomes at the same time in that same cluster, they don't all come through. Some of them took a week to survive, got out, and then 3 of them never finished in that particular exercise. So what's the problem? 5 years ago, everything would fit on a PC. Biologists could do all this analysis on a PC. 10 years ago, you could do it on Atari. I know someone who did that. And until today, we can use clusters. So most of us are in the cluster business now. We are writing pipelines, as you can tell. But the clusters, usually the way they're designed, they have a central file system I/O bottleneck. Yeah, so what actually happens when somebody writes an R script, fires it off on 2,000 nodes, all the nodes start hitting the central file storage at the same time, the beast rolls over and dies. It was fun while it lasted, right? So we had to do something, and last year I was at BOSC and I met the Arvados guys, and they were talking about a distributed file storage system. And distributed file storage is not new, Hadoop has it, Google has it in Colossus, there are a few other examples. But Hadoop, for example, is very little used in bioinformatics. At this whole conference, I've only met one guy who's using Hadoop at the moment. Why is that? It's 2 things. It's hard to install, hard to manage. Well, that's already 2 things. And you have to create software to target Hadoop if you want to use it effectively. So with Arvados, they have a system that is, that does the same thing, but it's supposedly integrated and easy to use. When you upload a BAM file into Arvados, it chunks it, it splits it into smaller pieces, and then it sends it out over the nodes. And when a node requests a BAM file, it will fetch the chunks from different sources. So the central bottleneck goes away. So we created a pilot. We moved an existing pipeline. It took about a week. The original pipeline was, I think, 150 lines of Perl code just to do this. And now it's just down to one-liners. The one thing we hadn't accounted for is that there was no support for GATK queue in there in Arvados. Yeah, so queue distributes again across nodes. It's like an internal system for distribution. So Pjotr, who is in the back, he had to modify Arvados to allow queue support, which took a little while. And now we have a system. So basically the idea is, when you upload one BAM file or one FastQ file, yeah, your run completes in 2 days. If you do 8 at the same time, it still completes in 2 days, and the thing is flat. Flat performance. And this is in a cloud setup. So this is effectively the pipeline. Sorry for the small print. We run BWA, which takes 19 hours at this moment, and we can actually chunk BWA. Then we run several Sambamba steps, and then we run GATK, the variant calling, and then the haplotype caller it is, and then the variant annotation. Yeah, so in total this is 2 days. This is proof they all ran at the same time. The conclusion is that it was actually quite easy to do. Much of the old plumbing was removed. Performance is flat. The cloud infrastructure is a very low threshold for using this stuff because we haven't installed any computers so far. It can run on a local cloud, which we are going to do. Arvados is free and open source software, which is quite important. 2 of the people, founders in Arvados, they come from the Free Software Foundation, so they're dead keen on the licensing issue. And apart from the performance thing, what is particularly exciting to me is that you can share your pipelines. Yeah, so once you've created a pipeline like we've done, other people can start sharing it. Yeah, and this is new. In our community, we are reinventing the wheel every time. I was doing variant calling in cancer the last 2 years, and I created a pipeline, and to get through the whole process, you have to learn about all the variant callers and alternatives, and tweak the damn beast. If I had been able to access another person's pipeline, it would have been so much easier. Yeah, so to prevent duplication of work, we should be sharing pipelines. Unfortunately, we cannot show the posters anymore. They've been taken down. And I can't answer questions because, this is the end of BOSC, pretty much.